Hello, everybody. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, Hocam. Then I'm starting the session. Dear academicians, students, and participants, good afternoon. Welcome at the second session of the first day of the Ibn Haldun University International Communication and Media Student Forum. I am Melih Gökçü, and I'm a first-year graduate student in radio, television, and cinema at Ibn Haldun University. I will moderate this session. In the previous session, moderated by Ahmet Bazan, the participants discussed pandemic and its effects on the education process from the perspective of communication students. And now I will moderate this session to discuss globalization, digitalization, and their effects on changing journalism and social media with our participants. Firstly, I would like to introduce our participants of today's session. Our first presenter is Abdurrahman Mujib. He's studying news media and communication at Ibn Haldun University. Then our second presenter is Dua Al-Najjar. She's studying bachelor's degree in press and media at Azarka University. Then our third presenter is Shahat Al-Ashkar. She's studying digital media at Applied Science University. Then we go further with Dania Al-Tamimi. She is studying bachelor's degree in journalism and media at Petra University. Then we continue with Haba Al-Haraki. She's studying media and communication at Ibn Haldun University. Then finally, we have one group presentation from Elif Menevşe and Zeynep Erilli. They are studying new media and communication at Ibn Haldun University. Then I would like to give the floor to Abdurrahman Mujib to present his paper research, actually.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Let me share my screen now. So, yeah, you can see my screen, right?
Yes, Abdurrahman, we can see it.
Okay. 1 second. Yes. Hello, everyone. It's me, Abdurrahman Mujib from Sri Lanka, and I'm studying in Ibn Haldun University, Media and Communication in third year. So I'll be talking about social media and fake news on this session. Yeah, so let's move. So here are the table of content. So what we be talking about in this presentation is what is fake news and rise of false information and types of false information, the false information business model, and social media and the filter bubble, and how to spot false information and facts-checking sites. So yeah, so let me start from false information versus fake news. So when studying news sharing on social media in UK, the researchers Andrew Chadwick and Kristen Wecker stated that in today's media system, people may be more likely to encounter false and misleading information on a daily basis. The difference between trustworthy and untrustworthy news on public forums has become a frequently discussed and occasionally volatile topics over the last few years, can say. And the social media is an almost unavoidable part of our society and also of our daily life. Now, can it be a trusted news source is a big question of this era. So yeah, when we ask about this question, like, can it be a trusted news source, the social media? not always is the answer we get. So yeah, I'll be talking more about how can we differentiate between misinformation and disinformation on social media and identify fake news and stay accurately informed. So, so here are the fake news and false informations. So here we will be looking about what's the main difference between fake news and false information. So experts now recommend avoiding the term fake news, or at least limit its use, as the term fake news is closely associated with politics. And this association can unhelpfully narrow the focus of the issue. So the term false information is preferable as it can refer to a diverse range of disinformation covering topics such as health, environmental, and economics across all platforms and genres, while fake news is more narrowly understood as political news stories. So let's take a wider look on what is false information. So lots of things you read online, especially in your social media feeds, may appear to be true. Often it's not true. So false information is news, stories, contents, videos, or hoax created to deliberately misinform or deceive readers. So usually these stories are created to either influence people's views, push a political agenda, or cause confusion, and can often be a profitable business for online publishers. False information can deceive people by looking like trusted websites or trusted profiles, or using similar names and web addresses to reputable news organizations, we can say. And then we can talk about the rise of false information. Um, False information is not new. However, it has become a hot topic since 2017 after the election in US in 2016. And then traditionally, we got our news from trusted sources, journalists, and media outlets that are required to follow strict codes of practice. However, the internet has enabled a whole new way to publish, share, and consume information and news with very little regulation or additional standards over social media, especially. So many people now get news from social media sites and networks, and often it can be difficult to tell whether stories are credible or not. So information overload and general lack of understanding about how the internet works by people have also contributed to an increase in fake news or hoax stories. So social media sites can play a big part in increasing the reach of these types of stories, since there is no regulation and there is no limit of sharing it. So yeah, we can now move on to the types of false informations. So there are different opinions when it comes to identifying types of false informations. However, when it comes to evaluating content online, there are various types of false or misleading news we need to be aware. So, so this includes, the first one is, we can say, is clickbait. So what is clickbait? These are the stories that are deliberately fabricated to gain more website visitors or more viewers or more clickers, we can say, and increase advertising revenue for websites. So clickbait stories use sensational headline to grab attention and drive click-throughs to the publisher's website, normally at the expense of truth or accuracy. So you can see this clickbait more on YouTube channels actually, who tries to get more views. The second one is propaganda. So stories that are created to deliberately mislead audiences, promote a biased point of view or particular political cause or agenda can be called as propaganda on social media. And the third one is satire or parody, we can say. There are lots of websites and social media accounts publish fake news stories for entertainment and for parody. For example, you can also see the pictures here: The Onion, uh, Waterford Whispers, the Daily Mash. They just want to entertain their audience. So most of the time they use false informations to just to entertain their audience, you can say. And then the fourth one is sloppy journalism, which is like sometimes reporter or journalist may publish a story with unreliable information or without checking all the facts, which can mislead audiences. For example, during the US elections back in 2016, fashion retailer Urban Outfitters published an election day guide. The guide contained incorrect information telling voters that they needed a voter registration card, which is like not required by any state in the US for voting. So people got confused like whether they want a registration card or not. And then the government has to release another news regarding like they don't want any registration card, blah, blah, blah. So these all can happen by mistake or by not researching the facts behind a news. And then the fifth one is misleading headings. So stories that are not completely false can be distorted using misleading or sensationalist headings or headlines, you can say. These types of news can spread quickly on social media sites where only headlines and small snippets of full article are displayed on audience news feed. As you can also see in the pictures here, so a cursory glance at various Western media outlets this month on the latest round of Israeli aggression against Palestinians has more often than not revealed ongoing bias or false equivalencies in the framing on their coverage on their websites or social media platforms. So the headlines have frequently reduced the Israeli efforts to seize the Palestinian neighborhood of Sheikh Jarrah to evictions, and the Israel raid on Al-Aqsa Mosque as its aftermath as clashes, and Israel bombardment of Gaza with euphemisms like conflict and flare up. This attempt to both sides the coverage by using neutral and passive language ultimately ends up working to obscure the power differences between one of the most heavily militarized state in the world and population who are victims of 54-year long occupation, we can say. So yeah, and we can move to the sixth topic, which is biased or slanted news, can say. So many people are drawn to news or stories that confirm their own beliefs or biases, and fake news can um, prey on these biases. So the social media news feeds tend to display news and articles that they think uh, we will like based on our personalized searches on websites, on social media. For example, when you go on your search feed or explore feed on your Instagram page, you will see photos, videos, reels, IGTVs, and lives based on your previous searches. So if you search about an famous actor, you will see the posts and videos about he or himself or herself about in your search page. So this also can consider called as biased and slanted news. So yeah, we can move to the false information business model. So the internet and social media have made it very easy for everyone to publish content on a website, blog, or social media profile and potentially reach large audiences. So with so many people now getting news from social media sites, many content creators and publishers have used this to their advantage. So the false information can be a profitable business, generating large sums of advertising revenue for publishers who create and publish stories that go viral. So the more clicks a story gets, the more money online publishers make through advertising revenue. And for many publishers, social media is an ideal platform to share content and drive web traffic to gain their revenue, we can say. So this is the false information business model. And yeah, we can talk about the filter bubble in social media. In a recent article on media literacy, Linehan noted that media is no longer passively consumed. It is created, shared, liked, commented on, attacked and defended in all sorts of different ways by hundreds of millions of people. And the algorithm used by the most powerful tech companies like Google and Facebook in particular can say are brilliantly designed to personalize and tailor these services to each user's profile. So here, this one also based on your searches, the previous searches. So you will see what they want to show you. So that's called filter bubble. So simply we can say like when we go online or log into a social network, we are generally presented with news, articles, contents, videos, photographs, and these are all based on our own searches online. So this type of content tends to reflect our own likes, views, and beliefs, and therefore isolating us from different views and opinions. And this is often referred to as the filter bubble, we can say. And yeah, so we talked all about these fake news and false information. So let's move on. What can we talk about? What can we do about this false information? So Google and Facebook have announced new measures to tackle fake news with the introduction of reporting and flagging tools. So media organizations like BBC and Channel 4 have also established fact-checking sites. While these are welcome developments and digital media literacy, and developing skills to critically evaluate informations are essentially skills for anyone navigating the internet, and especially for young people, we can say. And then the vast amount of information available online and raised in fake news highlights the need for critical thinking. So as I mentioned earlier, there are no regulations or limits of regulations when we're posting and sharing news on social media. So to provide more false news or false informations on social media on and also on online, so these kind of media companies, they are developing new tools to filter these false informations. So yeah, so we can talk about how to spot these false informations. um, First, we have to take a closer look, or you can take a closer look. Check the source of the story. Do you recognize the website, or is it a credible or reliable source? Ask these questions. And if you're unfamiliar with the site, look in the about section or find out more information about the author of that news or the content. So, and look beyond the headline. So check the entire article basically, and then many fake news stories use sensationalist or shocking headlines to grab attention. Also, this technique were used in clickbait, as I mentioned before. Also, often the headlines of fake news stories are all in caps and use exclamation points, as you can see in this picture, like 10 fast ways to get rich quick, and it's all in caps. So this kind of news are like mostly false information or fake news just to get clickbait and gain their revenue. So when you see these kind of news, go and check the author, the source, and then make sure it is fake or not. And check your sources, as I mentioned. So um, are other reputable news media outlets reporting on this story, or are there any sources in this story on social media, or if so, check they are reliable or if they even exist. Like um, when you see a news from Al Jazeera or BBC, or let's say a big media company, whenever they get a video or a photo from outside of their source, they mention the name or the source in a corner saying courtesy blah blah blah. So when you see that, you can know that that's the source of the image or the video. So you can know it's not a fake or it's not a false information. So yeah, the other one is you have to check the facts behind the contents. So stories with false information often contain incorrect dates or altered timelines. It's also a good idea to check when the article was published, and is it a current or an old news story. Um, Regarding the Palestine issue, recently, people in Israel, they used to share the news from past, like showing like, see, this is what's happening in Palestine, and no medias are showing to the world, blah blah blah. Like there were some news videos of people carrying a guy like who's dead, and then they're going in a road, and then when police come, they drop that guy and then they run. So this video is was taken place in Jordan, actually, in COVID period. They were just making fun with police, and then when police come, they drop that guy and then they just leave from the place. So the Israeli people, they shared this news on internet as showing that this is what happening in Palestine and no media is covering blah blah blah. So this was actually an old news. So whenever we see such a news or such a content, it is better to go and search and find out when it is shared. So yeah, let's move on. You also have to check your biases, you can say. Are your own views or beliefs affecting your judgment of a news feature or report? So social media algorithms that are designed to give us news and information based on our personalized searches and interests make it harder to see beyond our own world view. So to really make an informed choice about information, we have to be aware that our own views or beliefs may affect our judgment of how accurate or reliable a piece of information is. So finally, we have to check, is it a joke? Actually, like mostly, since there are no regulations in social media for news, it could be a joke too. So satirical sites are popular online, and sometimes it's not always clear whether a story is just a joke or not. So check the website. Is it known for satire or creating funny stories? If it is, that means it's a joke. It's not reliable, or it's not serious news to be reported. So yeah, it would be better to check the websites of these news, we can say. And then it is better to check your own instincts before sharing a content online. So you have to ask these questions like, does it seem like to be true? Like, is it true to yourself true? And then is it accurate and helpful if you share this piece of text or content online? And is it fair to share? And when you ask these questions, you can find whether it is fake or no. uh, we can decide whether to share or not. So yeah, so here are some fact-checking sites. You can scan this QR code, and then you can get the accessible to these websites. Here you can go, and whenever you see a fake news, or if you feel like this is a fake news, you can go and check on these web pages about the sources and the liability of the news. Yeah, and then while I was making the research to prepare this presentation, I saw there was a game called Bad News. the game which helps player to spot fake news. So this game is designed to help people understand how fake news and conspiracy theories spread online. Has been created. So this game was created at University of Cambridge. So this game lets player to build a social media following by choosing inflammatory headlines and images to share with their imaginary fans. So players earn achievements for impersonating celebrities and spreading informations. So the creators of this game, they say like they want this game to be a vaccine against fake news. So you can again scan this QR code and go and check this website. I guess you will enjoy this game. And then finally, I would like to finish my presentation with a quote, which is misinformation is a virus unto itself by Kaler. So yeah, thank you for listening me, and that's all from me.
Yeah, Abdurrahman Majid, thank you for this wonderful presentation and the precious information. Actually, he presented the really important points, such as the rise of false information, its types, and how to spot it. By the way, I would like to remind that we are going to take the critics' opinions and remarks regarding the session at the end of the session. So our second presenter is Dua. She's going to present us the future of communication. So Dua, the mic is yours.
Thank you very much. And I would like to thank all and to thank my Dr. Amjad to give me this opportunity. First of all, we are talking today about future of communication. Before of that, we need to know the four keys of communication. It's a process, understanding, meaning, and sharing the information. And also, we need to remember the 8 elements of communication. It's source, message, and receiver, sender, and feedback, contents, and environment, and interference. First of all, we must know that we are always being communication. That's mean the communication even if we go back, okay, throw back, and we will see the future, we will always be communicated. We will always be communication. Between the development and security, we have a bond and pain of communication. I will just scan three bonds, and after that we will go to the future of communication. First of all, that we have of pain, we are always bounded by government. That means we are always under a spot, okay? All our contents, our pictures and videos, and all our shares, it's on spot for the government. And this is kind of, this kind of knowing, or this kind of a news, it's make us more nervous. It's make us more nervous, and it's make us always thinking about what we need to share and what we must to send or what we don't must to send. And the second one, like my colleague Abdurrahman said, the fake news. The fake news, it's the most important problem that we focus on today, because from all the news, we have it, and a lot of news we have now in the social media, on the media, on the TVs or radios. We focus that we can give interesting headline, let people come inside this news, and after that we give them a fake information about what's happened, maybe, and maybe the place happened on that. Like we have it in the picture now, that we have the original picture of the echo of Facebook Mark, okay, that he had catching a paper wrote in it, thanks. And after the attack from Israel to Palestinian people, they shared that same picture, same place, but with a different information, that he's standing with Israel from the Palestine side. And also here we have the same picture for the same news, that when Egypt said that she's standing with Gaza and she's supporting them, they put the flag of Palestine on their permits to make the news more important, to let people come and check the news. And the third part of pain, we have the deep fake technology. It's the video that used the technology to pass celebrating face onto a different body. That means we can take any speech for anyone and put it on the other one. And I think for the women, it's make the changing of beauties. It's changing the beauties. Just let me. The beauty standard, and it's make the women look into the they look for the. They forget the comfortable points on them. They look also, they always want to change their faces, and they want to change their lives. They give us it's like a fake picture actually on the life. And I don't know if anyone checked the video of Obama. There is one actor was a speak, okay, through the video, and after that they bring us the original video that it's not Obama, the one who was speaking. And now we'll transfer to the poem. It's good to announce that a lot, over 1 billion people have sensory disabilities. That means we have more than 1 billion people. They cannot speak, they cannot hear, and they cannot talk. That means we need to check another way to let them communicate with us. And after that, how they communicate? They communicate. How they communicate? They communicate by their senses. That means that the voices or the waves of voice we have it, okay, they can touch it, they can feel it, they can just know what's happened around them. And also the aromatic signals, and also we have the electrical signals, and we have ambient signals, and we have proximate signals. All of these signals, it's go through the brain, okay, and our brains can translate it to us or to them to know what's happened, in front of them or behind them. Here we have the map, energy contents of brain. They explain what's happened in our brain, in our brain. So all some of creators, they think that we need to be more clever, and we need to let our minds or our brains to work without we are saying anything. They start the artificial intelligence. They start to study our bodies, and they start to translate what can they take just 1 minute, what they can take from our nervuses, and they start to transfer it to some movements. We have it. Here we have, as we said from the first of presentation, that we have a decoding, okay? Machines must have it in any communication we need it. Here in our future communication, the decoded, it's our senses. It's like brain, clothes, or our hands, our eyes, and our brain. After they study that we need to improve our senses, okay, they start to create some things to help us how to translate our nervous to movements, like the one we have it now. This is application translated what we have in our mind to a computer. Think to speak, okay? One day we will reach the point that we need a lot of times to think what we need to speak, because the future of communication, that it's translated what in our mind without our speech. And I wanted actually to show you this video. It's translated how the people, they lost our some senses, okay, how they focus the world in front of them.
She can't communicate like you or I. Imagine not having a voice.
I have been working for years to get a system that works for Mia. But when she grabbed pros, I want Play-Doh.
The reason why we're doing what we're doing is because we want to democratize voice for millions of people. What we do with the EEG is we take the data that comes from your brainwaves to have pros speak a phrase out loud. This is now able to think, and pros speaks on her behalf. Smiling. So smile for yes and push away for no. Yes. Just did it. Communication is everything.
I want it to impact the rest of their lives.
Using creative facial inputs. I mean, this is. What we're going to create is that every single person, regardless of your ability, is going to be able to communicate. I love you. It's just going to happen.
So the conclusion we have it now, that we are always on communicate mode, but actually the future, it's make us need to develop how we communicate. And sorry, because I'm a little bit nervous, and thank you.
Thank you too, Dua. Actually, I found your presentation really interesting and really wonderful, especially for the future of communication. Dua presented us concerning about the fake news, deep fake technologies such as face swapping and facial manipulation. And at the end of her presentation, she talked about the non-verbal communication with its feature. Thanks again for your presentation. So our third presenter is Shahed Al-Ashkar. She's studying digital media at Applied Science University. So Shahed, the floor is yours. So you can present your presentation.
Hello, my name is Shahd. I'm from Jordan, uh, from Applied University, Science University. I will share my screen. Okay. I will talk about globalization and digitalization, its impact on the media and the public opinion. Okay. Globalization and image enhancing identity. Uh, Perhaps the most dangerous consequences of globalization are those related to the danger of culture approaching and the fear of losing identity for many peoples and nations. The negative social and moral effects of globalization on Arab and Muslim people that occur as a result of that cannot be mistaken by the eye of the beholder of the foresight of the researcher. The means of globalization have been able to penetrate culture boundaries based on the centers of industry and promotion of the prevailing culture of an interdependent Western character. Through electronic influence machines using the image instead of the word, in favor of sweeping the culture space that invades the culture value and theories at the expense of the value of the conquered peoples. Third thing in the with exclusion and protection by history and heritage of this loving into the midst of the prevailing culture and being lost in its sweeping current. The contemporary contemporary global reality imposes on the Arab countries and the Islamic nation to make the utmost effort to preserve its civilizational and culture identity. Otherwise, it will be exposed the annihilation and death. Because nations don't treat third biological death, but rather thought their culture destruction their culture rather through the demise and the integration of their children into other nation culture. The Arab culture has not any time sought to dominate the culture of others, and it cannot be do so because it is a progressive and advanced culture, which is that the language of the Quran embraces the infinite future, carries with the bonds of immunity and immunity. And it's not afraid of other culture that turn around continually backward, no, not like uh, for rings of domination, bouncing and absorption. Thank you for listening.
So Shad, you finished your presentation, right?
What?
You finished your presentation, right?
Yes. I asked them if I can make it short. They asked yes, no. Okay.
Okay. So thank you for your presentation. And Shahad made a presentation about globalization and dangers of globalization, actually, for the Islamic nation, because sometimes it means the annihilation and the death of the other cultures or so. Now we will continue with Dania, and she is going to present us the new era of social media and journalism. So, Dania, you can take the floor and you are
Hello.
free to present your paper.
Okay, hello everyone. I would like to talk about the new era of social media and journalism from my own perspective. First of all, social media is a developed platform of digital media globalization. And that's why I exactly called it a new era. Because of the globalization and digitalization, journalism has expanded from only being a newspaper and radio into a lot of forms. Digital journalism is creating a new media horizon for the 21st century through technologies that reduce barriers to computer networks and the world. In addition, it has created a new modern type of writing, such as blogging, freeing people from the necessity to make massive investments for productions and distribution equipment. Also gave the chance to many individuals and organizations to create many new patterns, journalistic patterns and practices, which created a new forms of communication such as YouTube and the concept of citizen journalism. Also, I want to add something. Citizen journalism, it was there from the beginning, but it expanded and began to be common when technology developed and when internet expanded in the world. And so you don't have to go to an organization or to be an employee to put your article. You just need to sign up for any electronic newspaper and just put your article. Now I want to talk about the relationship between digitalization and globalization. Actually, digitalization is transformative and is a strong driver of globalization. Digitalization, the use of digital technologies such as the internet and smartphones in everyday life, has made the access and process of information more reliable, timely, and accurate. It is a global phenomenon. Worldwide internet users have tripled since 2005, and with 3.2 billion users in developing countries, now has the access to digital technology more than to secondary school or clean water, according to the World Bank 2016. We at this point of our lives and before maybe like 10 years ago wouldn't have imagined that the communication of the year 2021 would be through mobile phones or blogging or maybe an internet broadcast. We might witness communication change in the future through augmented reality. In an augmented reality system, you view the world through a technological overlay. This could take the form of a handheld device like a smartphone. There are several augmented reality applications that are already available in some phones. And another possible applications is through a set of augmented reality glasses. In either case, you can view the whole world and you see real-time digital information about what you are actually viewing at the moment. The classical example of an augmented reality is the restaurant review. You could stand in the front of a restaurant and through an augmented reality system, read customer review or view the daily specials without ever the need of walking inside the restaurant. But the applications don't have to stop with locations. Augmented reality system might extend to people as well. Imagine now looking at a stranger and seeing that person's name, Twitter, Facebook profile, Twitter handle, and other information. Clearly, augmented reality system will raise concerns about privacy and safety, but such systems are already in development. But then there's the video conferencing. While the technology has existed for years and internet, video calls weren't actually that popular in the world. But now webcams are starting to appear on televisions and are standard on very devices like laptops and smartphones. We have become used to having a great deal of freedom while just sitting on the phone. Now it actually doesn't matter where you are in which geographical place in the world. You can now reach to the world's news and all of that because of the globalization and digitalization and their effects on changing journalism and social media. For example, there's some countries that doesn't have the freedom of speech, such as occupied Palestine and Iraq. People there might have to use VPN to post a new news or a video that is explaining what's happening. We wouldn't have even heard about Gaza's last news without the digitalization and globalization. It just made the world a really small city. But now we can do all of this due to the globalization of media. Language barriers are also disappearing as well. Devices that can translate languages are allowing people from different places and cultures to communicate without the need to an interpreter. In the distant future, we may be able to communicate by sending our thoughts through a network directly into someone else's brain. We are decades away from such an idea, of course, but scientists, of course, are working and creating a brain-computer interfaces that allow people to transmit thoughts directly to a computer. Perhaps 50 years from now, we will use an electronic version of telepathy. Actually, the technology of communication evolves at a blistering pace. It may turn out that my predictions or our predictions doesn't even scratch the surface, but only time will tell. And thank you for listening.
Thank you for your wonderful presentation, Danya. So Danya presented us the new opportunities that we have today and the alternative media tools such as blogging and citizen journalism, and also other facilities within the digitalization and globalization, such as augmented reality. Our fifth presenter is Heba Al-Haraki. She is studying media and communication at Ibn Khaldun University, and she is going to present us the information pollution. So Heba, you can present your paper.
Thank you very much. Let me share screen. Okay, I think you can see my screen. I have lots of slides, as you can see, but hopefully we'll go through them kind of quickly. So my topic, as you can see, is about information pollution. I will show you my favorite quote. I don't know who the author is, who said it, but it's, I just saw the picture and I very much liked it. And I'll just show you it, like the quote now, and we'll talk about it after we finish the presentation again. So this is the quote. The main thing is to keep the main thing, the main thing. Of course, as I said, just throwing it at you now, but we'll talk about it at the end of the presentation again. Now let's define information pollution. I guess my friends already kind of gave you a sense of what information pollution looked like, even if they didn't name it per se. But what we're talking about is, again, something that like an age-old issue. We have been suffering from people, telling us lies or, doing some iftira or doing some, kind of like fake news. Like fake news it didn't came with Trump. Like it's an age-old issue. But the speed and quantity is, what is new on the arena. Like we have the quantity is much more, and the speed is much more as well. So we have quantity and speed, and that what actually created like the pollution, the information pollution. But information being misused or abused, or misinformation, disinformation, all of these have been existing for so long already. And just to note again, my friends already gave you a sense of what that looks like, but let's reframe it again as like any information in any context from anybody can be either correct, even like prophecies, the prophets in books such as the Naba al-Azim, when they talk about how do you know whether this prophet is honest or not, like we have to look at the news. It's an information, it's a news. The prophet, for example, is saying I talked with God, etc. So any kind of information can be categorized as 3 categories, no more than 3. It's either correct information, it's either misinformation where the person is lying or is telling something that is fake or not correct, but without being aware. So they might be crazy or they might be otherwise, but I mean like the information, a report on an information can be either correct or misinformation without being aware of it. You're saying something fake or a lie, but you're not aware of it. You're not aware that it's a lie. Or it can be disinformation, which is basically being purposefully lying or purposefully manipulating. So this is the general frame, and I will talk about hitting the bottom and having no other way up but up later on. But now, after we have set the frame, so we know that information generally are these 3 categories: either correct, either misinformation, or disinformation. But is it all? Like, what about if it's correct, the information is correct, yet insignificant? Well, that's a very huge part of information pollution. You might have correct news, but at this you're bombarding me with news that I don't care about. Or of course, after a period of time, we get conditioned to trivial news and trivial ideas and people just saying jokes and posting memes and saying what they did with their family. I mean, sometimes it's fine, okay, but not all the time. I don't want to be bombarded with all of these trivial informations, all of these insignificant information all the time. So just to make a comparison with what significant versus insignificant information or news look like, you can just see like the average dog can count to 5 and understand about. I mean, this might be helpful for some people, but not for the general public. The same, by the way, I checked the Uber facts on Twitter. All of their information are actually like, for example, the last tweet is about like whether the some kind of a building, if it's winter and if it drowns, to what degree it will drown and to what degree it will stay above the surface. And this is what I mean by insignificant information. Like it doesn't affect my life immediately, or it's only for specialized cases for experts or something like that. But it doesn't generally interest the general public. Whereas things like what happened in Gaza, as also the friends mentioned, or what's happening in the conflict zones and war areas is much more obviously significant, much more influential in everybody's life, actually. But if you still don't believe me, if you still don't believe that, oh, this issue in Gaza is not, much more significant than what the average dog can do, I will give you another, kind of like proof of why this is, kind of important. Here's why. You saw here that the newspaper which posted this news about the children in Gaza who got killed is the New York Times, right? So you can see that. You can see from the title. The surprise is that the one who posted this advertisement saying condemn these 3 celebrities now just because they supported Palestine, and they posted very, common sense supporting messages about Palestine, saying condemn them now, is also the New York Times. So the same newspaper which posted these photographs of these children saying that they were just children, it's the very same newspaper that posted this advertisement saying, condemn these celebrities now because they support Palestine. Why? Why would a newspaper publish two contradictory things at the same time? And by the way, I would like to get answers. Like if somebody would like to raise their hand and offer some. I actually wrote some stuff at the side, but I would like to hear answers without what I wrote. So what do you think? Why is it the New York Times? Like, what is this contradiction? Yani, after a few days of posting this one, they posted the children photographs. Why did they do that? Yani, are they pro-Israeli or are they pro-Palestinian? So what do you think, guys? If you don't think anything, so that
Heba, can we take your question again at the end of session? You can just present, and at the end of session we can get the answers. Yeah, is okay?
Yes, they made money out of it, said Batul. I was just gonna. That's an option, but sometimes we might get the answer of, well, maybe they are objective, maybe they are impartial, and they are great people, so they are like showing us both of the sides, the Israeli side and the Palestinian side, so that's all fine. However, I personally don't think so. I personally don't think so for several reasons, just to name few, because the celebrities are, first of all, they didn't post any Hamas, for example, propaganda, or they didn't, they weren't pro-Hamas, and they were pro-Palestine. Their posts were very general and very, not direct. So condemn them now in that, severe way is very much, like, it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. It doesn't feel sincere that the New York Times was really like sincere in posting the children photographs after a few days of this advertisement, especially that they are naming it, a conflict again. And maybe they would accuse Hamas of killing them, saying that they misfired the missiles and stuff like that. So generally, I don't think so. I would like to, discuss that after the presentation again, but I don't think it's because of objectivity. I don't think it's because of impartiality. I actually think it's because of the importance of the news, that if I don't publish it, someone else will publish it. As Jacob was, if I don't steal it, someone else will steal it. So if I don't publish the news, it's going to be published anyway because of the value, because of the, I'm not sure what the term was, but there's the news value. Like, news have value to them. So this is a proof that actually these types of news are of real influence and of real, impact on changing the public opinion. And therefore, even the newspapers that are against this cause, that might be, against Palestine, they still post things about Palestine because the news itself has a value to it. So yeah, it's important. It changes the public opinion, and smart and popular media outlets know that very well, so they use it very well. I think, and we can discuss that, of course, afterwards. Now, what are the, like, to kind of try to wrap things up, what are the problems with information pollution? We said that you might get wrong information, but we said also that perhaps more importantly, you might get distracted. It's distraction, it's insignificance, it's triviality all around, and that will hold you back a lot from what you need to be, what you need to be seeing and what you need to be hearing, and afterwards what you need to be doing and acting. So that's, in my opinion, the even more dangerous problem of information pollution: priority, insignificance versus significance. So what should we do? How should one go around that? I put our lovely university's campus here because one of Ibn Khaldun's mottos is that we are a research university. I'm third year students, to be honest. Now I realize that whoever made this slogan, whoever said that we have to make a research university, they were very right, to be honest, because research is the key. Research is probably one of the most, if not the most important tool in our modern age, precisely because we're bombarded with so many things and so many, as we said, whether it be wrong information, whether it be insignificant information, it's just so polluted, and we need to just, take a step back, take a deep breath, and try to figure out what we really want to do, what we really care about, what is really indeed important and not what other people are telling us that is important. So this, the idea of research, the tool of research is really important, for whether it's on the individual level or institutional level. We here call out to all institutions to integrate research, to try to teach students how to research, try to make them aware of the importance of research and why they should, you make them feel the pressure of the pollution so that they be like, oh, please teach me how to research so that I can, take a step back and take a deep breath outside of all of these, noise and pollution. So research is a key. Also, as a personal advice, I advise you to not go into social media until you are equipped. So until you finish this first step, you learn how to research, you don't go to social media. You go to social media after you are equipped so that you can pick what actually, is good for you and fitting for you and what is not. And the third really, really, really important thing is to ask questions. Just keep asking questions. Just don't take things at surface value. Don't, okay, I understand that, it's not good to, always be talking, but at least in your mind, like, don't take things at surface value all the time, and don't, believe whatever. It's a cliche, I mean, but it's true. Don't believe what everybody tells you. Don't believe whatever you hear. Do ask questions. Do try to, and maybe we can also give examples about how asking question can actually save you sometimes. I guess how much time do I still have? Because I still have a couple of.
You have time, Heba. You can present it.
Okay, thank you. Just a little bit more on social media. As I said, we can talk about more examples later on. But to give you just a couple of examples of how social media can, surprise you sometimes and shock you another time and appall you sometimes and make you happy other times. These are just, they are in different languages, so I'm not sure if I can translate them now, but this is their words for justice. They basically posted a post about Al-Jolani, who is the head of one military group that they consider as terrorist group. And the way that they posted it, they're saying, oh, handsome Jolani and things like that. It's not institutional, it's not professional to say, Ya hala bil Jolani or something like that. It doesn't fit into our understanding of the institution and the professional, kind of sense. On this side of the middle of the picture, you can see these are some like, this is a list of what Palestinians did wrong in regard to the East Turkestan. So the Turks, some Turks in Turkey, they are saying, oh, we're not going to support Palestine because you Palestinians didn't support East Turkestan. You didn't support our people. We are all Turk. We Turk in Turkey and in East Turkestan, we are all Turk. You are Arabs. You Arabs didn't support us, the Turks, so we're not going to support you, the Arabs. This kind of like, and it was very, very interesting because, in general, Turkey is a Muslim country and they would support anything that is related to Al-Aqsa, but there was still this narrative. So you can see all sorts of things. Institution going crazy, talking about handsomeness and saying jokes, institutions, having the blue tick, you can have very strange narratives about things that you don't hear on the streets. And you can have some very, very nice things, such as the one on the right of the screen, which is the two masjids, Hagia Sophia mosque, saying wa alaikum salam to Taksim mosque. Again, it's like the institutions having Twitter accounts, and because the mosque is at the end of the day is an institution. So you can see all sorts of things on social media. It's crazy. It's like not even it's like, going mad. Everybody's, it's so open, which is a good thing, but you have to be equipped. This is just to give you a sense of like, why do you need to be equipped? Because you will see all sorts of things. Now, okay. I don't like Nietzsche actually, but I like this quote, saying that it is not when it's dangerous to tell the truth that its advocates are hardest to find, but when it's boring. So actually it's fine if the truth is dangerous to say, but if the truth is boring to say, then that's a problem. If the truth is boring, that's a problem. The truth needs to be exciting. even if it's dangerous, even if it's gonna cost you your life, it still needs to be, like the most important thing is that it touches the lives of the people. So yani, this is just to give you again, remind you and myself that at the end of the day, the most important thing is to make the choice of like what you want to, because as we have been talking, like the truth, the correct information, the versus the bad information or the misinformation, etc., etc. All of these are creating a narrative and creating a mainstream and affecting lives. But at the end of the day, you may choose to still not research and not, care about whether this information is true or not. You just have something in your head that you are, you want to be sure of. No matter what happens, no matter what contrary evidences come, you're not gonna care. It's this way, and it's gonna be it's my way or the highway. It's not gonna change. No matter what you tell me, no matter whether it's true or not, or I have this idea in mind, it serves me, and I will always continue with it. So you might say that as well. I mean, it's wrong, but you might say it, and you have the ability to say it, but you shouldn't think. But again, it's a choice. And I guess I wrote some things here, but I guess we're gonna just move on to try to, again, wrap up with some nice experiments. The JAM experiment, I'm not sure if you have heard about it, but it basically tells you that when you have too many options, when you have too many things around, it actually makes you paralyzed. Like there is this choice paralysis. It makes you paralyzed because there are just too many options out there. So actually more is less. Yani, the more you have, the less able to make decisions, the less able you are to move and to think and to make actions and decisions and stuff. So this is what's happening to an extent also, I think, in the case of information pollution. A glimpse on the future. I think because the more is less, you're gonna see, like as Abdurrahman was saying, currently the titles are all have like very long titles with emojis and very, kind of like confused stuff, and so many photographs and so many emojis and so many question marks and all of this stuff. But slowly you're moving to very short, very precise, and very to the point, kind of titles. And this is actually the aim, and this is the goal. This is what we want, because we really don't want information pollution. We really don't want that. Majam al-Kalam is also, again, like in the prophetic tradition, it's something that is praiseworthy. And I think because we are having so many options, we're moving towards the very minimalistic, the very, short, precise, and to the point narratives, actions. This is what I meant by, like when you hit the bottom, when you are bombarded with everything all around and you can't even think anymore, you're gonna take a step back and breathe and move to what really matters, and move to what really, what really makes a difference. Do I still have time? Because I feel some people are writing on the chat things like, oh, you took so many times. I don't see yet, but okay. Tamam hocam. Estağfurullah. So should I continue, or should I just, because I can continue this stuff, but I can also,
How many slides do you have, Heba?
Actually 2 left.
Okay, you can continue, of course.
So this is again like the glimpse on the future, guys. We're talking about what's gonna happen in the future. I'm very hopeful, as I said, that because we hit the bottom, because we got bombarded with so many things, that now it's time to go up. No way other than up. We hit the bottom now. So now it's the way to move, to take a step back and to think of what really matters and what is really influential, and to think about what are, like, how do we, because Abdurrahman thankfully talked about resources, how you can check the resource, how you can make sure that it's true, it's not fake news stuff. And I think that's important. but I think that we should also, broaden our criteria of what a trustworthy source looks like. So there is, of course, the idea of like what people say about it. Like, is it generally said to be a trustworthy source, a trustworthy website, a trustworthy newspaper, what in Arabic called tawatur, like what people say about it. But also we should take what is happening around the context into consideration. In the prophetic tradition, again, it's asbabun nuzul. Why the surah was like, what was the context? Because sometimes the information is correct, but it's just cut, or it's just, it's not the whole picture. There's a lot of things missing, and this happens sometimes intentionally and sometimes unintentionally. If you have like a Western journalist coming into Syria, or coming into Iraq, or coming into Gaza, and they have never seen this place before. It's the first time. They don't know the culture. They don't know what's going on. It's just, they're coming and reporting and going back. This is very much lacking of the context. This is very much lacking of the substantiation, the things that are going around. They're very, oblivion to what's going on. So you should also take into consideration that Western resources might be very good in reporting Western news, but we need to report our news by ourselves because we know the context better, much, much better. So you should also reconsider also these criteria, not only that, oh, the New York Times is great and everybody says it's great, so okay, this is part of it, this is what people say about it, but also consider what it is, like what are they? Be a little bit more detailed in your consideration and your understanding and evaluation. Are they reporting Western news? Are they reporting Eastern news? Etc. etc. All of these are qara'in or criteria, yani. And of course, I believe we are going to, trust firsthand evidences even much more, anecdotes, personal information. What I saw in Syria matters to me much more than what the New York Times says or what Eli Aksoy says, because she just, a lot of information that you see, you're like, if you are from that area, you know that it's a lie because you've lived there. So firsthand evidences, which contributes to citizen journalists, is very important, and I think will be very important. So we will not be constrained in our criteria to only, what people say about this newspaper. Oh, the New York Times is great, the Times is great, the BBC is great. No, we will also think about, we will broaden our horizon and think about other criteria. As we said about qara'in, firsthand evidence. These people have firsthand evidence, these citizen journalists. So we also should maybe trust them more than New York Times, etc., etc. All of these are just examples. Applying information pollution at you. I'm throwing everything at you, but I hope that we will, because okay, these are just sources you can look up on the issue of information, that will be beneficial in the context of information pollution. Brahim Stikran's book Al-Majariyat and Julia's Bayesian thinking. You can look that on YouTube. And I will maybe get the presentation. But yeah, just this is my last slide, and this is my last note on everything that we've talked about, because we've talked about lots of things, but I hope it boils down into one main idea, because the main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. This is the quote that I showed you at the beginning. So I'm hoping that because we had the bottom line, now we're gonna realize that keep away all of these stuff. I don't want to hear anything anymore. I want just one thing, just one sentence, just one profound word that matters to me the most and that is the most influential. I don't want to hear anything other than that. And this is actually the way of Quran and the way of, as we said, like Majamar al-Kalim, also the Prophet, that it boils down into like one sentence, that it's a great news, it's a heavy news, it's something that is important. This is the main thing. It's the main thing. So I'm hopeful that we're going slowly to realize what is the main thing, and religious texts, and in our case, especially the Quran, is just a great way to start doing that. But yeah, I'm hopeful about the future generally. And I think it took much time. So thank you very much for your patience and for your listening. And that's it.
Thank you, Heba, for this wonderful presentation, actually. You presented really today's big problem, information pollution. Also, personally, when I got information from any source or any channel, I really suspect because I don't know if it is true or it is not. So, and also the internet and social media, they are really a huge ocean of pollution for me. And by the way, your question was very critical. Please do not forget it. And at the end of the session, we will have the answer, okay? So we have the last one presentation. It is a group presentation. So Elif Meneshe and Zeynep Erilli is going to be with us to present their paper. They are studying news media and communication at Ibn Khaldun University. So the mic is yours. You can present the paper.
Okay, I'm sharing my screen. All right, Zeynep.
Okay, Elif. Hello, everyone. I'm Zeynep and my friend Elif. Today, we're going to talk about the relationship between social media and popular culture. First, I will explain what is popular culture and how is it formed. Then my partner Elif will explain the effects of social media and popular culture, and she will give some examples to make it clear. And lastly, I will summarize the presentation. Okay, Elif. I can start with explaining what is popular. The most classic meaning of popular is that which belongs to the people. Today, however, this concept is used to mean loved or chosen by many. And what is popular culture? According to dictionary, popular culture is the set of practices, beliefs, and objects that embody the most broadly shared meanings of a social system. Elif, one please. Popular culture is a concept that is hard to define, but we can say that it's a daily life culture that is transient, and it includes many varieties from music to food and beverage, from clothing to sports. Also, although it's a daily consumption culture, it can entertain the masses and have a guiding effect on them. For this purpose, it's in a constant change and development because it has to maintain its popularity and always present the new to the consumer. For example, in the music area, the popular is being in top 10 for singers or listening to the top 10 musics that change every week. Or in clothing, the popular is the cultural look that comes with fashion and it also changes with every season. Or maybe it's the struggle between McDonald's and Burger King to win consumers for free choice. I mean, they all offer this as individual freedom, pleasure, and choice. Elif, can you move on? Popular culture is a quick use and fast consumption culture. Consumers take the packaged popular and they use them applying their faces, hairs, hands, feet, etc. And they complete the process of popularizing goods and consciousness. If the consumers do not join the popular or does not catch the popular, they feel uneasy. However, consumers who do not miss the popular, they find themselves thanks to popular and they participate in the sale of the popular one. They find themselves and their identities by observing the popular ones that steal from them actually. And they do it every day. Also, popular culture says you should use B product of company A, or you should use brand X perfume, or you should apply lipstick, or you should wear shirts because you're worth it, you deserve it. If you do not these, you can't gain value. Elif, can you move on? And how does it become widespread? It's popularized by talking among friends, expressing admiration, glorifying, and using the brand, of course. And on the other hand, with the social media. Today, every social media networks that includes people from all ages have become the environments that popular culture products are fed and spread. And popular culture enters the society more easily through social media. And in this way, it affects events, social conditions, giving meaning to life and it also shapes our lifestyles. Today, where social media has become inevitable and indispensable for people, users of all ages play an important role in the creation and transfer of popular culture as both producers and consumers of content with these tools. Although the emergence of popular culture dates back to old times, it has become a phenomenon that has gained importance today, especially with technological developments. The role of mass media in the formation and transmission of popular culture products cannot be denied, but particularly after the 2000s, social media, which has become a part of daily life very quickly, has gained a place in the lives of millions of people with different education level, income status, worldview, age, and gender. So, social media helps for creation of popular culture, and it provides to spread the popular culture among people. Now, my friend Elif will explain the relationship between social media and popular culture more broadly with examples.
Okay. Hello, everyone, and thank you, Zeynep, for your good, informative introduction. Now I'm going to talk about some examples of popular culture and then the effects of social media on popular culture. So, essentially, almost all the things known as trends in today's social media are a representation of popular culture. If we think outside of social media, an example of popular culture would be the use of virtual baby toy, Starbucks coffee, selfie sticks, fast food products, by a group of people, which then quickly spread to others and then became known to most people over a period of time. At the same time, a product, game, idea, food, actor, singer, or television show, or many more things can be a popular culture item. So, what effect does social media have on popular culture? As Zainab said at the beginning, users of all ages play a significant role as both producers and consumers of content. It is explained in almost every source that culture is under the influence of the media and that popular culture is the media product. While the media plays a significant role in the formation of popular culture products, it also plays a carrier role in transmitting the popular culture products. Therefore, the media is the primary factor in the spread of popular culture. The possibility of interaction and being easily accessible have made social media platforms the most important media tools in the field of communication today. New symbols created by social media give direction to people's lives and create a certain lifestyle and a new form of culture that includes new ideas, actions, and artifacts. Nedim Karaduman examines the relationship between social media and popular culture under 4 titles in his article. These titles are desire to be noticed or visibility, celebrity culture and fan base, leisure time, and entertainment. The first one is desire to be noticed or visibility. Social networks fulfill the desire of people to be visible and noticed by other people. The desire has been increasing simultaneously all over the world since 2000s. Photo or video posts on social media satisfy these expectations of people with feedback like comments or likes given by other people. The second one is celebrity culture and fan base. One of the most important features that distinguishes social media from other media tools is that it has two-way communication. In other words, any audience can reach the person they follow by messages or comments. And even he can become famous through his social media account. Young people quickly adapted to these environments and became a part of social media-oriented popular culture formations. Media producers also encourage social media users to create a celebrity culture and fan base with the applications they constantly develop. Concepts such as YouTubers, Instagrammers, influencers, streamers are the products of this popular culture. The third one is leisure activity. When we look at the social media usage data in research conducted by We Are Social, we can see that 53.6% of the world and 70% of Turkey is an active social media user. So many people spend their leisure time on social media and even devote time to it. Within the framework of this interaction created by social media, common interests, new lifestyles, and behaviors are formed between individuals and societies. The last one is entertainment. Media have been used almost all over the world for entertainment purposes most of the time. Ahmet Oktay says the media provides content that can make people forget their daily troubles, violent pornographic items, and items that provide instant satisfaction. The main element that makes social media popular and attractive is increasing and differentiating content aimed at having a good time, fun, and laughing. So that was all for my part. Now Zeynep will continue with the conclusion. Thanks for listening.
Okay, to sum up, today it's impossible to say that culture is no longer under the influence of social media, because it is. The future of popular culture being accessible to everyone puts it in the field of social media. And undoubtedly, popular culture emerges as a phenomenon that manifests itself in social media networks, which has become one of the most important communication technologies of our time, and it's spreading rapidly. Therefore, the shaping and spreading of popular culture is increasing thanks to social media environments and the rapid communication and the intense interaction created by these environments. That's all we have to say on this subject. Thanks for listening to us.
Thank you, Zeynep and Elif, for your fascinating presentation and also important information given there. Zeynep and Elif, they presented us social media and popular culture, including how they affect our daily habits, and they made the definition of popular culture, what is popular culture actually, and how it comes to our life today via social media. And also they gave the examples of it. And our presenters have shared significant information with us in this session. Digitalization and globalization are two important terms, I think, that we should study today, since we are still in the process of digitalization and globalization. We will see what will happen in the future. And I hope that all of you enjoyed this session. First of all, I give floor to our presenters for questions. So dear presenters, do you have any questions, remarks, or critiques about your colleagues' presentations? Maybe we can start with Heba, because she put the question, a critical question. And also after the presenters, our participants, other participants may have something to ask or add regarding this session as well. So Heba, you can start if you want with your critical question.
Sure. By the way, all of the presentations were great, mashallah, and I should say that. So thanks to, of course, the attendees and my friends, the presenters. My question was just, as far as I remember, it was about the New York Times. Why did the New York Times, post two contradictory things? You think? Why? That was the question. Then.
So do we have any answers from others? I think Rahula, okay. I think you don't want to answer that question. Okay, so Al Sana wants to answer.
Hello, Hiba. Regarding your question, I think so, because of the these news platforms, the main soul and the soul of their aim, it is to make it more interactive, because when they publish anything that is trending, and they will get more audience to comment on their platforms, So this will get their platform more interactive. So I think that is the I don't think there can be any impartiality or to be objective or subjective. No, it is what is trending that is important. Whether it is a good thing to other people or them, maybe it may affect them or not. But as far as their platforms are getting more interactive, so they will publish it. And we can see there is like this kind of competition between this platform as well. So as you said before, I agree with you. Like, because of it is a new thing, this kind of like sort of celebrities, they commented on this kind of stuffs, and all the newspapers are trying to be the front load of the information. So I think so it is all about interactions. It is all about who will get more comments. And Hiba, also, I have a question for you. Before we go further, you said use social media only to enrich your sources, not as an original. But apart from our daily life basics, all the information we are getting, we just storm to social media to get our sources. Like, it represents as if it is the original sources of our daily life. What do you say to that?
Should I answer now? Will you have it or later? Am I audible? Should I answer now or later?
You can answer now.
I think I actually meant that you need to be equipped by, you have to form your opinions about, for example, the issue of Palestine or the issue of religion or the main issues, the big elephants in the room. You have to form your opinions about them, not from social media originally, but from other sources, from other, more clear-cut and more, how can I say, more trustworthy sources with the criteria that we mentioned, not only criteria of what people say, but also first-hand evidences in the context. So with these criteria all together, you form your opinions, and then you go into social media. If you see something that contradicts your opinion, because it's called informed opinion. What does informed opinion mean? Informed opinion means that you believe what you believe, not just superficially, but because you have researched and you have looked deeply into the issue, and now you believe in it. So I meant that you have to form your opinion, have an informed opinion, and then go to social media to have more, to enrich, to have more evidences on what you believe. Or if you find something contradictory, then you research whether this contradictory thing is really truthful, with you apply the criteria, and then you may, change your opinion again. But this is what I meant. I meant that forming opinion cannot be on social media. You cannot form opinions on social media. This is what I meant. I don't know if you agree.
Who wants to say something, I think, regarding this issue?
Actually, I want to thank all my colleagues for the value information they shared with us. First of all, I wanted to answer the HIBA questions. Okay, maybe some news. Okay, they care about how many news they shared, and they don't have any supporting side. This is actually about the confusing. They share that's in news, and after that they sharing like an Israel and Palestinian news. And I think we have a lot of kind of medias. They have this confused. They are not standing with any side, just they are sharing the news.
Okay, I think Alsana wants to say something as well. Yes, you can talk, Alsana.
I have question for what is Diana? Like, she talked about the citizen journalism, so, and the importance of it. But my question is, because right now we are so overwhelmed with this news. Everyone has a platform where the person can disseminate any information. Should we regard like citizen journalists as an accurate source of information?
Thank you, Alessandra, for the question. Actually, from my own perspective and opinion, I don't think that the citizen journalism is a reliable source for the most of the information. Like the citizen journalism is used for yourself, like you just go and put your article and your opinion. It doesn't have to be accurate. You don't post like your opinion with the sources. Most of the citizen journalists put their opinions without actually like from their own background of culture and religion and thoughts. It is not reliable. I don't think it is reliable actually.
So Betül wants to say something. Sorry for keeping you waiting, Betül. So.
No problem at all. Okay, first, thank you very much for all these like useful information and beneficial. It was really great to know you, and it was my pleasure to see new faces and from very proud places. Yeah. First, I want to answer Hiba's question. I don't think they post the ads for like because they are objective, or I don't know what, because it was paid ads. They paid something $1 million. I don't remember the specific price. And also yani these companies, these channels, they want to make money. So and the organization who made that ad paid a lot of money for that ad. It was advertisement, so they wouldn't get. It was advertisement. It wasn't news. It wasn't the one that you showed us, the children, the Palestinian children who died in the war and in the bombing. It was a news, but this one, it's not news. It's advertisement. So they wouldn't care what it's about, or if it's contradict with the news they posted or not. This is what I think. I don't know. I also want to ask a question regarding the topic. I think dua topic, and also you, Hiba. I think you also can, because you both talked about the same topic, not the same, but close to each other. I want to ask, like, nowadays, the news is losing its credibility, like day by day, especially with the new technology. I don't know if you heard about the deep fake. Like, it's very real. When you, like, I don't know, do you know the deep fake? Yeah, okay. So it shows real faces, and it's impossible. Like, until now, it's so hard to know whether it's fake or not, as far as I know. So how the information and the news future will be with this technology, and I think in the future we wouldn't be able to decide if this is true or not because of these technologies. Maybe it will be better in the future more than this. So what do you think?
Should I answer? Okay. Actually, I don't know if this kind of development, it will be really dangerous on the future or not. But actually, we have, I think, a graphic designer here. I think on the other session we have the ladies. Okay. The problem is it's nowadays, okay, they developed the program of design, okay, to be more clever than what we accept, exceptions actually. And I think there is two application, one for Google, I think, okay, we can just throw the video on it and we can know if it's fake or not. And as our colleague Hiba said, we must to, when any video we focus it, okay, we must to search about the resource of this video, and we can just take a speech on that video and be sure that it's really a real video or a real speech for that guy or for that lady, they say it or not. And actually we must to like we develop the design, the programs of design. Also we must to develop the way we can know if it's real or not. I think, in my opinion, that this side of technology, it's make in the future it will make a really trouble for us. And I think that one day we will see a lot of videos, but we are not sure that it's real video or not. Maybe some days we will not be sure that we can trust any information from any videos or any picture or. I don't know. We don't know the future, but nowadays we can just use the application that we trusted, that can just show us the real information that we have.
We can say also one sentence and or two. I definitely agree with Dua, and definitely you will have counter technologies. You will have, kind of maladaptive technologies, but you'll have counter technologies as the one Dua mentioned. I didn't know about it, but it makes sense, and it's good that you just throw the video and it tells you whether it's fake or not. I think that will also happen. And the other perspective is that sometimes it doesn't even matter, and whether the video is real or not, whether the post is real or not. The issue of significance, and I was trying to convey that we need to look whether the news itself is valuable or not. Whether it's true, will it change my opinion? Will it? Is it significant in itself? Because sometimes it doesn't even matter. So it wouldn't be that much of a big problem, maybe sometimes. Hopefully.
Thank you for answers. So Omar would like to speak. Yes, please, Omar.
Thank you very much, Millie. I just wanted to, I think, answer Hiba's question about the New York Times posts. I don't know if you guys know or heard about it or heard about Noam Chomsky before. Noam Chomsky has this theory that's called, what was it called? Manufacturing content. Yeah. So according to this theory, media or mass media's advertisements and advertisers, let's say, the people who work in advertisements, they kind of buy the audience, basically speaking, where the item sold as is the as audience. Quickly speaking, I don't want to go through the details of the theory. You've got enough classes to talk about that. But according to the theory, there are some political, economic powers that control the mass media, and what the mass media, like the New York Times, newspapers, and TV shows, and so on, they control what stories should be, shared and given and distributed among the audiences. So I believe that according to the story, the Israeli, let's say the Israeli supporters, powers, people in power, they kind of, played some games in the New York Times's, protocols, and let's say they bought us off. Yeah. Many people say, I believe I read a piece of news on this. It said that there were a few millions paid for that. The advertisement that you showed us, Hiba, the one that came after or before the Gaza Children's thingy, on Dima Hadid and I'm not sure. The Yara Hadid, what's the name? I'm not really sure. So that's my answer. I'm not sure if it's the correct answer or not, but still, I return the microphone to you, Hiba, if you've got any comments on what I said.
Well, thank you very much. All of your answers, I guess, are sufficient.
Thank you, Omar. So Ruhullah would like to speak. So the floor is yours, Ruhullah.
Thank you so much, Meli, and those who presented. The presentation were really perfect and include useful information. I'm wondering something about journalism ethics, codes, and standards, as we discussed, and our friends like presented that nowadays media components are considered to have a prominent influence on globalization, and also because of globalization process today there is an increased access to a broad range of media, which plays a very important role in shaping human minds and has an impact on our societies and our personal lives. And we also understand that these two equally important processes interact with each other and provide mutual assistance in the expansion of the sphere of influence. And about the citizen journalism, as we know that now everyone with a smartphone have access to the internet, is able to share any news or anything they want. And now the question is about the journalism ethics codes, like it is a general question, anyone can answer it, like do ethics codes really matter? Like can everyone like share whatever they want? And if they follow those rules and codes, would be there censorship? Because as we know, you may know that there is a writer like Clifford Christian, I think his name was. He says that the journalism is facing a crisis of ethics that threaten to lower its standard, and it's because of this like access to the information. Like everyone can share any news or anything without like following those codes. Like, what do you think? If anyone can answer it.
Anyone who wants to answer the question?
Now, I guess me and Dania talked about citizen journalism. I talked about it very briefly, but if actually, I do agree with Dania that citizen journalism in general might be very questionable, but in some places, it does. For example, in Syria, and there were no trustworthy channels. Like all of the channels were actually owned by the Assad regime. So you do need, citizen journalism was the reason why a lot of war crimes were exposed. Sometimes even the revolution is said to have, started because of citizen journalism and because people got to see what's going on. So on the point of citizen journalism specifically, I do think that sometimes it can be very, very useful and very trustworthy, more trustworthy than even like very big channels and newspapers. But as Dania said, sometimes it's not. Sometimes it's questionable. It depends, actually. But I don't know about, maybe if you want to.
Like the point is like, if I give an example from my country, like in Afghanistan nowadays, like everyone is a journalist, like a doctor, engineer. Like it doesn't matter like what they are doing. Like everyone just open a Facebook page or Twitter or anything else. They're just sharing the information without following any like ethical codes. Like they just, if you tell them that you shouldn't like share anything like without like following those rules, they just it's a freedom of speech. I can share anything I want. But even me, like sometimes I'm saying that who am I? Like if those people are like journalists, like what is my job? Like the thing is that when they're like not following those ethical codes, like as Meli says, like he's like always suspicious about the information, like when he's like reading in the internet or anywhere else.
So Alison, I think you want to speak.
Yes, I want to thank Hiba and Dania for their answers. And I have question for Abdurrahman. Is he here?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, thank you very much for your remarkable presentation. It was really insightful. And you talk about the fake news, and you mentioned mostly the negative part of the fake news and how it has an impact in the media fraternity. So my question to you, do you think there can be a positive impact of fake news that can really change and in the reality, the life of the people? Do you think so that it can have a massive influence positively?
Um, yeah, like let's for example, let's take the COVID-19, the coronavirus. Let's say you're spreading a fake news about like uh, how to say, the effect of coronavirus in a different way. Let's say like if you don't wear mask, so you will get infected in 2 days, or if you don't get the let's say if you don't follow the precautions, you will get infected in 1 or 2 days, and it may affect, or you can say if you get affected by coronavirus, it may affect you even after 5 years. So these kind of, like, I don't want to say like fake news, but false informations may, like as you said, may change the people's life in a positive way, since we all know like even though we have different ideas and opinions about the effect of coronavirus, still we see like millions of people are dying. So far like 3 million people have been died because of this coronavirus all over the world. So like if we spread some these kind of messages to make people alive and make people live in a healthy way, yeah, why not? Like but still the thing is, as I said, there are people, there are companies and everyone who's looking for fake news, and then they just want to make fake news and spread it as fake news, and saying people like, see, this is fake news, so don't follow this channel or don't follow this person because you are, or that company is spreading fake news. So still somehow you will get be banned by the, let's say you're sharing on Facebook. If it's a fake news, Facebook will recognize it as a fake news, and then you will be shadow banned. So like I think I hope like you get your answer.
Thank you, Abdurrahman.
Also, maybe like I want to add about the citizen journalism. I'm not sure who asked about it. Regarding the citizen journalism, like as Rule also said, like now in this era, like everyone has a mobile phone in their hand and everyone is making news. So we don't have a limited regulation, we don't have limited rules, so everyone can share what they think about such thing, and then their own opinions without any ethics, as Rose said. So how can we believe someone else news is when you work in a media station or TV station, you will get to know that when someone write the news, it will be taken to proofreaders, and then they will read all the news, and then they prove it's correct, and then grammatically it's also correct, and then it will go to the chief editor himself, and then he will look at the whole thing, and then he will say yes or no. If he says yes, it will be published as a news. So since the citizen journalism is like everyone can share like everything they want, I think like if you are seeing such a thing, as I mentioned, we have to follow those 6 steps. Like you have to go for the sources, you have to go for the facts behind it, you have to go for the dates when it's shared, and then you have to uh, go for like are the same information shared in different media channels or newspapers. So like yeah, you can follow these steps in order to make it like verified news. Also, like if you want to become a real verified citizen journalist, you also have to follow these rules to not to fake a news or not to mislead any news. Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, Abdurrahman, I would agree with you. I think this is all the result of the digitalization and this mass media communication. Because as Hakkı Hoja said before, for example, in their days, they are the one who will go and dig the news. Like it was an elite news, so it was only meant for elites to be interviewed and their words to be dispatched to the masses. So because of these devices, so everyone is free, as he said, when a king or a queen is talking, so no one will dare to face or object. But right now you have your device where you can write whatever you want. When a president is talking, you have an opportunity to directly object or talk anything you want. So I think it's because of the digitalization our world has given to us. That prompted all these development, I can say in other way.
Thank you, Alessandra. I think Dua would like to speak. Yeah, please.
Yes. Also, I wanted to actually to add that we need to not forget actually that a lot of war, okay, around the world, especially in Palestine and Syria, the people, they was showing us what's happened inside, the real what's happened inside. We can actually, we need to control the not journalisms, okay, to not share a lot of news, because it's make like a noises for the real news or the job of media, okay. But actually also we cannot forget the advantage of how they show, okay, and what they show to us. I think there's a lot of advantage and there is a lot of disadvantage, but we need some rules, okay, to put all of these habits on a frame, okay. Can all give us, like, I can share what I have, but I have a rules that I have to follow it.
Okay, thank you, Dua. Heba would like to speak.
Yes, I have been thinking about the question of Ruhullah's, like how can we, what's our job, first of all, if everybody is doing it, and second, like whether this should be controlled or not. And I agree with that definitely, that it's not, it depends again, like on the situation. But if the country doesn't have a major war going on, and because I recognize that, for example, in Syria, it's an exceptional case. There is a war going on, and everybody cares about that mostly. I mean, there is no room for other concerns and for other stuff. But when the situation is more peaceful, I think we can still create a concern. Yani, if there is no main concern, if there is no war going on, there is like this ability to create a narrative that will concern everyone and will make, yani, will direct them all of, like, towards that point or towards that narrative. And I think that can be very, very useful, if which also the Zainab, I guess, and Zainab and Gözde talked about, like the popular culture, what people see as the most popular and the most important. So if the popular culture, if this goal that we're directing all people, all citizen journalists and everybody towards is significant, then it might actually create positive impact. It might, create enrichment to this topic that has become the popular culture and the main narrative. So I think if there's no war, if there's no something important, we can create something important so that people, focus on.
Thank you, Heba. So Haura would like to speak. Please, Haura.
I have a question for Abdurrahman. Do you think the fact-checking algorithm content moderation machine that operated by Facebook or Instagram are reliable? Because I think you mentioned a few points about that.
Currently Facebook is developing the tool actually since I guess 2017, as I mentioned. They're trying to develop some kind of news or some kind of how to say tools. When you see a news, you can report it before, like when they begin the Facebook, they didn't have that option to report such a post. Now you can, when you click it, the report page, you will see like multiple options. It's like you can say it is violence, or it is fake, or it is not related to the topic they're talking about. So they're trying to still develop the tool, but yeah, so they also have their own how to say, Facebook has its own fact-checking tool. So when you say that report this, the automatically the message will go to that website, and then they will review your request. So when they find it out like these are fake news, they will ban all the news spread on the same topic all over the Facebook. And it's also the same in Twitter. When you report it, and when they see it as it's a fake news, or it's a false information, or let's say violence against someone else, and then if they don't want to show it, so they will ban all the news or on the Twitter. So they also have this mechanism. So like it's all about the users who are reporting the issue. Like if you report about such issue, and let's say the 10 more users are reporting on the same issue, they will have more how to say, a focused review on that, and then they will close all the posts spreaded all over the Facebook and Twitter. So you can rely on their mechanism, I can say.
So do we have any further questions, critics from the participants? Yeah, Haura would like to speak. Please, Haura.
My question was about the reliability of those tools, because like as we've seen recently, Instagram has mistakenly, by the way, I'm air quoting, mistakenly their content moderation deleted posts and hashtagged blocked them that's related to Al-Aqsa because they were associated with terrorism. Like this is what I'm asking. Like, are they reliable, those tools?
That thing is not about the fact checking. It's about the Instagram itself. And then soon after this thing happened, actually what happened was they deleted all the posts under the hashtag of save Sheikh Jarrah or save Palestine. So there were like millions and millions of posts. So yeah, Hara has commented. Yeah, content moderation machine. Yeah. So fact checking is something when you want to check if it's fake or not. So you apply for that, and then you will get your response as fake or not. So this thing, what happened in Instagram was, as they say, it happened by a mistake, and then they deleted all the posts on that hashtag. So it's kind of their mechanism error or something, I can say. Yeah, that's what I can say about that.
And Ruhul, Haura would like to say something firstly. Yeah, please.
No. I just said okay.
Oh, sorry. Okay. I saw with Rangul. Rangula would like to speak.
He's muted.
Can you hear me now? Okay. I don't think that they deleted those posts like by mistake. It was on purpose, I'm sure. And I believe because I have lots of experiences, even in my own country, they have some policies and they just follow them. Like in my country, there are some specific persons. If you just share a photo of them or a picture of them without saying anything, they will automatically delete them. Like, and they will put some restriction on your account. And still, I don't believe that it was by like mistake.
Well, me too. Like, I don't believe, but like as they said, it was by mistake. I'm currently working in a media company as a social media specialist. So like we were keep posting posts of these Palestine and then these Gaza issues. So at the beginning, we were getting like more views, more likes on the issue. And then when we were keep posting about the same thing, by the time the views and then the likes and then the comments were like less amount. So, and then we researched, and then we once even our account was closed because of these content sharings. And then when we researched about the thing, and then we got to know that we were having a shadow ban, which means you don't know like you are having a ban, but when people visit your, or when you share such a thing on your page, people don't see your post. So they also have this kind of mechanism, like whenever they want, whatever they want, they can make people not to see your post. Yeah, they also have this thing, since the platform is theirs, they have the right to do whatever they want.
Currently, I have this issue with my own accounts.
Yeah, like I think all of you have most recently seen, especially the YouTube videos. The YouTubers were sharing how they were get banned by YouTube itself. Like their videos were deleted from their page even. So yeah, it's happening.
Is there anybody who would like to add something? Any critics, questions? Okay, I think there is no one. But as a moderator, I would like to ask a question directly to Heba. Dear Heba, I really like the part of your presentation that involves religious text and the religion in general, and the issue of information pollution. I have a special attachment to the topic, actually. I hold my first master's degree in religious studies, and in similar context, we discussed it very often during our classes. And so I personally would like to thank you for this part. So with all this information pollution, it seems that the feature will be basically adhering to the mostly trusted sources. I mean, in our case, the Quran has the absolute reliability so that we find clarity of mind, actually. Don't you think so? I mean, how do you comment on this?
Definitely. I mean, you summarized it wonderfully. This is actually what I was trying to convey when I said we hit the bottom line. And now there is no way other than going up, because when there is so much humanly produced information scattered all around, it does feel like, okay, yani, we talked about significance, we talked about misinformation, we talked about disinformation. All of these combined make forming opinions kind of different. How forming opinion will be different? I think we will question whether this source, the Quran, for example, as we mentioned, is trustworthy, whether it's true, whether it's from Allah really, and whether the Prophet Muhammad was saying the truth. And we will ask these existential questions, these very, very main questions. And to be honest, of course, I have asked them to myself first, and I have personally, went through this period and got to really, got to really, dig deep into the issue. And when you find the answers, of course, you cannot find the answers on social media. Sometimes you can, like you can find very informative videos and, summaries of some books and some stuff. But generally, you don't see, it's rare to answer existential questions from a post. By the way, sometimes it can be, and very interestingly, sometimes it does, and you can sometimes by one small information, it's the last drop, and it makes you very sure, or it makes you very skeptical of something. So it can be, but generally, overall, you need to read and research and form your opinion. And this is also what I meant by informed opinion. That's خلاص, you have formed your beliefs, and now you go out to the outside world equipped, not completely oblivious to what's going on, and like going on with whatever the stream takes you. Wherever the stream takes you, you're going on with it. This is actually the key issue, and I do definitely think that it's gonna happen, and this is why I'm very happy about what's going on, although it's very controversial, and it's kind of, it's like a conflict, an invisible conflict going on, but I still think that the outcomes will hopefully be very, very fruitful.
Thank you for your answer. It was really clear. And also, my second question is to Dania. Regarding your presentation, I see that actually there will be many advantages of augmented reality systems. But actually, in terms of surveillance, I mean, how do you consider augmented reality in the context of surveillance? What kind of augmented reality we will see in the future in terms of surveillance? Can you answer this, please?
Actually, as I said, I think that augmented reality is not predictable. It's always like changing and developing with the technology. So I can't predict right now, but I think it might, like as I said, you can now look at someone and see what is his name, and he might be a stranger. So it is not predictable. I can't predict it, but of course it will develop into a lot of forms that we as human beings we can't imagine.
Okay, Dania, thank you for your answer. I think there is no further questions, critiques, or remarks regarding the session. So I think I can come to the final part of our session. Firstly, I would like to share the certificate of participation. Can you see it? Yeah. And I would like to say thank you to participants and the universities in the name of our faculty dean, Professor Izzet Bozkurt, head of our department, and Dr. Hakkı Öcal, and the coordinator of the forum, Dr. Yasmin Abbas Abdullah Aldamen, and Ali Kıvrak. We look forward to seeing you again in another activity at Ibn Haldun University, and wish you all success in your study. Thank you for your contribution and participation of today's second session. And for tomorrow, please be with us at the next session, tomorrow at 9:30, on the feature of public relations, advertising and marketing communication in the light of globalization and digitalization. The moderator will be Gözde Okumuş. We will be with her on the first session of tomorrow. And also for those who want to watch the session again, they can visit Ibn Haldun University social media channels and watch it again there. So I'm wishing you all a healthy and pleasant day. I hope you enjoyed today. See you tomorrow.
And also we would like to thank you. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. It was a pleasure for me to moderate your session.
Thank you very much.